Welcome to the deep dive. We take the sources you give us, and we dig in, try to connect the dots for you.
Find those hidden insights.
Exactly. And today, we are plunging into a really labyrinthine case. It starts with things that seem totally separate.
Yeah, completely unrelated on the surface.
And then it just spirals. You get this chilling story of revenge, secrets buried for decades, and even covert ops by national intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You've given us a fantastic stack of material here. So our mission today, connect these threads. We're talking anonymous threats, a murdered TV star.
Right. Then a suspicious death in a nursing home, a deadly car crash.
And it all seems to point towards this shadowy master criminal codenamed Zeus.
What's really gripping, I think, is how it unfolds through one detective, Inspector Horton. He starts seeing patterns.
Driven by intuition.
Yeah, intuition, and crucially, this unexpected personal connection pops up. It lets him see links where everyone else just sees, bad luck or coincidence.
So we'll follow his journey, uncover the hidden motives, the surprising ways these events all tie together.
And it shows how tiny details, things easily overlooked, can actually crack open a massive conspiracy.
Okay, let's start unpacking this. First thread. These anonymous threatening phone calls.
Right. Received by Nicholas Farnsworth, the TV diver, popular guy, and his co-presenter, Perry Jackson.
They're in Portsmouth, filming a new series, and it's their producer, Corinna Denton, who reports the calls.
And Inspector Horton, who catches the case, he's immediately, well, let's say, skeptical.
Understandably.
Yeah, he suspects it's just a publicity stunt, trying to drum up interest for their show Diving Off Devon, which apparently is being repeated.
The hotel manager even confirms no calls came through the switchboard. Adds to the suspicion.
Exactly. Horton's thinking, why now? Why stage calls for publicity at the end of the repeat run? Doesn't quite add up timing-wise.
It raises that question, doesn't it? How often do we see things presented as real that are actually, well, staged?
And this initial deception, even though it turns out not to be directly linked to the murder in the way he first thinks, it sets a tone. Layers of deception.
Good point. And the film crew you mentioned, the cameraman, Jason Kirkwood, they're on a tight budget. So, free publicity, maybe appealing.
Plausible motive, for sure. Horton gets a feel for the personalities, too. Farnsworth seems pleasant, maybe a bit patronizing, even.
While Jackson is impatient, short-fused.
Yeah, Horton picks up on that tension between them straight away. Hints of something simmering under the surface long before the murder.
Okay, so that's the initial setup. But then things take a really interesting turn. Horton gets called to the Rest Haven nursing home.
Right. This is because of a complaint from a Stephen Kingsway. His mother, Marjorie Kingsway, an elderly resident, claims an intruder assaulted her.
Standard procedure, follow up the complaint. But while he's there, Horton learns something else. Another resident, Irene Ebery, died recently, New Year's Eve.
And this is where it gets, well, interesting is one word for it. Why does Irene Ebery's death grab Horton's attention?
Officially, it's straightforward. Heart disease, Alzheimer's. Signed off by the GP, Dr. Eastwood.
But Irene's personal belongings are missing. Just vanished. Odd. And when Horton starts asking questions, the manager, Mrs. Northwood, and Dr. Eastwood, they seem cagey. Reluctant to share details, even medical records.
That famous copper's sixth sense starts tingling.
You bet. And then comes the real kicker. Horton realizes he knows the name Irene Ebery. He discovers she worked with his own mother years ago at a casino.
No way.
Yeah, they even lived in the same block of flats, Jensen House, just a couple of doors down from where he grew up.
Wow, okay, that changes things. That personal connection makes it immediate, urgent even.
Absolutely. It's not just another case file anymore. And then adding to this growing unease...
We find out about Irene's son, Peter Ebery.
Right, a Category B lifer, Kingston prison, serious crime years back, high security risk.
Horton clocks this immediately, though he keeps it cool. But you can see the wheels turning. A nursing home death. A lifer's son. It's starting to connect in a dark way.
Definitely weaving a web.
Okay, so as Horton's digging into the nursing home, another seemingly separate event starts to look connected. The death of Daniel Collins.
Ah, yes. Daniel Collins. Died on Christmas Eve. His car went over Saltern's Wharf. Drowned.
His mother, Mrs. Collins, she was adamant it wasn't an accident. Called the police repeatedly, wanted them to look closer.
And here's the link. Daniel Collins actually worked as a care assistant where?
Rest Haven Nursing Home.
Bingo. And crucially, none of the staff mentioned his death to Horton when he was first asking about the place.
Which is weird. A colleague dies tragically, you'd think it would come up.
Exactly. It makes Horton wonder, was he disliked? Or was there a reason to keep quiet? It strengthens his gut feeling that Daniel's death wasn't just an accident, and it is tied to Rest Haven.
So he starts looking into Daniel's last known movements, that Christmas Eve.
And just when you think it can't get more complicated.
Enter DC Harriet Lee, seconded to Horton's team. Seems routine.
But Horton's instincts are sharp. He feels something's off about her, doesn't quite fit.
So he makes a call to an old contact, Ray Ferris, and gets confirmation.
She's not just any DC. She's Intelligence Directorate, MI5 or MI6 territory.
National Intelligence. And it turns out they had Rest Haven under surveillance.
Covert surveillance. Officers staying in a B&B opposite the nursing home.
Yeah.
From late December into early January. A wax jacket man, an oriental-looking young woman, watching the place.
Which just blows the whole thing wide open. Why on earth would National Intelligence be watching a nursing home?
It completely changes the scale, doesn't it? We're not just talking local crime anymore. This suggests something much bigger. National security implications, maybe. Major organized crime.
Something far outside the usual scope of local CID. It's deeply unsettling.
Yeah, the presence of the directorate is a massive red flag. Their job involves things like counterespionage, serious organized crime that crosses borders, things way beyond a typical police investigation.
So their interest in Rest Haven means someone or something connected to that place is involved in seriously high-level stuff.
Precisely. It tells Horton and us that this seemingly quiet nursing home is concealing something of national importance.
Okay, now the investigation takes another dramatic, tragic turn. Nicholas Farnsworth.
The TV diver, found dead, Oldham's Wharf.
And the details are brutal. A specific karate blow to the throat, and 3 fingers missing from his left hand.
This isn't random, it's targeted, personal, violent.
And the irony, those threatening calls they dismissed earlier.
Suddenly look horribly prophetic. The pressure cracks Perry Jackson, he confesses.
They did stage the calls. For publicity. Farnsworth's idea.
Jackson calls them schoolboy pranks. Horton is furious, obviously, but it's overshadowed by the murder. A stupid game turned deadly serious.
It really underlines how wrong initial assumptions can be. A publicity stunt masking a real danger.
And this is where we get the real picture of Farnsworth, not the charming TV personality.
No. His ex-lover, Daisy Pemberton, who happens to be a psychologist, describes him pretty clinically. Manipulative, grandiose.
Consistent with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, she says. Needs admiration, lacks empathy, uses people.
Thrives on it. Multiple affairs. With a producer, Corinna Denton.
Who was previously with the cameraman, Jason Kirkwood. Messy.
And even with Perry Jackson's ex-wife, Annette Hill.
Wow. Talk about burning bridges.
He was also a successful estate agent before the TV fame. Made a lot of money at Deansworth's. But Daisy's assessment is blunt. Liar, cheat, drinker, could get violent.
Left a trail of wreckage behind him.
So the motive for his murder, who wouldn't want him dead almost?
Well, yeah, he created enemies, like Gary Manners, the diver whose career he ruined.
Right, left him trapped in a wreck. Gave the poor guy a phobia.
Deliberately, it seems. Then there's Nathan Lester, another diver, antiques dealer, involved in that marine archaeological project with Farnsworth, likely another victim of his schemes.
Daisy also recalled Farnsworth threatening Orion Oldham, vowing to destroy his business.
The man was practically asking for trouble, attracting intense personal hatred.
Okay, so the investigation is pulling all these threads. The nursing home, Daniel Collins, Farnsworth's murder, the intelligence angle, and then it comes to a head.
With Stephen Kingsway, Marjorie's son, the one who initially complained about the intruder at Rest Haven, also a security guard at the Marine Archaeological Offices.
He confesses to killing Farnsworth and Nathan Lester and Daniel Collins.
Horton calls him unbalanced, maybe psychotic, blames his childhood for everything.
The motive for killing Farnsworth and Lester, pure revenge.
Yeah, a really cold, calculated revenge. It turns out Farnsworth, back when he was an estate agent, teamed up with Nathan Lester. They targeted Kingsway's mother, Marjorie.
Defrauded her.
Completely. Out of her house in Surrey. And her valuable antique collection. They undervalued everything, sold it off for a huge profit, split 30,000 pounds between them, and left her destitute.
And Kingsway found out.
Yes, and plotted his payback. He's ex-army, trained in diving and martial arts.
Ah, the karate blow.
Exactly, his army training. He used it on both Farnsworth and Lester. Even baited Lester, pretending he'd found a valuable wreck. Lester, being an antiques dealer, couldn't resist.
Chillingly methodical. But what about Daniel Collins? How does he fit into Kingsway's revenge?
That's different. Not about the fraud. Kingsway admits Daniel saw him assaulting his mother, Marjorie, at Rest Haven.
The incident Marjorie complained about, but it was her own son.
Seems so. Daniel apparently threatened to report him. Kingsway, described as being enraged by his mother's constant rejection, couldn't have that.
So he silenced Daniel.
Incredibly elaborately, lured him to the sailing club on Christmas Eve, got him drunk, then used his diving skills.
His car over the wharf.
Yes. He strapped the drunk Daniel into the passenger seat, drove the car into the water, then, get this, wearing a dry suit and scuba gear, he swapped places with Daniel underwater, pulled him into the driver's seat to stage it like a drunk driving accident.
That explains the autopsy findings. Dr. Clayton noted Daniel wasn't wearing a seatbelt, which was odd.
Exactly. It all clicks into place. Kingsway's personal vendetta connects Farnsworth, Lester, the nursing home assault, and Daniel Collins's staged death.
Okay, so that explains the murders Horton was investigating. But what about the Intelligence Directorate? And Zeus?
Right, this is where another detective's work comes in. Inspector Cantelli. He'd been working on organized crime leads separately.
And he uncovers something crucial about Peter Ebery, Irene's son, the lifer.
Peter Ebery was murdered in prison, poisoned with heroin.
Why?
Turns out Peter was originally framed for the robbery that sent him down. And he was killed in prison because he knew too much about this master criminal, Zeus.
Ah. And another prisoner, Ludlow, was pressured into doing it, threatened.
Yeah, Zeus's network has long reach. They threatened Ludlow's family. Peter knew he was a target.
So Irene Ebery, she wasn't just Peter's mother.
She was Zeus's former lover. That's the explosive connection. And she knew about Zeus too, which is why she was likely killed, silenced in the nursing home.
So the Intelligence Directorate, they were investigating Zeus all along. This massive criminal operation, drugs, trafficking, money laundering, extortion.
Exactly. And they put Irene under surveillance at Rest Haven, not just to watch her, but hoping her son Peter would try to contact her or use her situation somehow.
Hoping Peter would lead them to Zeus. Irene's fires in her slat before the nursing home. Maybe attempts to signal something, or just confusion from her dementia.
Could be either. But essentially, the directorate was using her. She became bait.
Bait for Zeus's people.
Yes. The theory is the directorate perhaps even let slip that Peter was thinking of talking, trying to force Zeus's hand, draw out his operatives.
Knowing it put Irene and Peter in extreme danger.
It seems so. Zeus's people silenced Irene first. Peter realized his mother's death meant he was definitely next. Tried to make a deal, but they got to him first. Killed him with that heroin dose before he could spill the beans on Zeus.
So the director used them, allowed them to be sacrificed, essentially, to try and get their main target.
That's the chilling implication. How much collateral damage is acceptable in the pursuit of a greater good or a high-value target? It's a brutal calculation.
Wow. We've really navigated a complex web today. Started with what looked like petty showbiz stuff.
And ended up deep in international crime, intelligence operations, and utterly ruthless revenge plots.
From Farnsworth's faked threats to the quiet death in the nursing home, the car accident, all pieces of this much larger, much darker picture.
It really hammers home how surface appearances can be so misleading. Horton's persistence, that personal link, it peeled back layers no one else saw.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? About the stories unfolding beneath the surface in our own lives. What we accept at face value.
Yeah, how often is there a completely different, maybe more intricate, maybe darker narrative playing out just out of sight?
Exactly. It leaves you asking, how much do we truly know about what's going on around us? And, maybe more disturbingly, what secrets are still hidden, protected by powerful forces, waiting for the right connection or the right price to be brought into the light?